Here's some data that was taken from a survey. They looked at a number of students and identified what kind of cars they are driving. This is a frequency table. It's a very useful way of describing some data. Often we want to look for some other ways, maybe some graphical ways to show and illustrate the data that we've collected. Here's that same data represented as a bar plot. We will learn in this chapter how to build graphs, what makes a good graph, what makes a poor graph, and also how to read graphs that are produced by other people. Here's the car survey data represented as a pie chart. We'll learn which kind of graphs to use for discrete data and which kind of graphs to use for continuous data. A histogram is a nice graph to use for some continuous data. We'll talk about the shape of data. Here is some data that is roughly symmetrical. It's also mounded. This data is also symmetrical, but it doesn't seem to be mounded the way the other one was. It seems to be bimodal. This data is skewed to the right because it's stretched out towards that right side. It's piled up on the left, but pulled out towards the right, skewed to the right. Here's some data that's skewed to the left. These kinds of things we wouldn't be able to see and recognize in a raw list of the data. But in a graph, it becomes apparent that there are some patterns involved. In this chapter, you'll learn how to make graphs, how to read graphs, what makes a good graph, what makes a poor graph, and this will give you a lot of power to be able to produce meaningful reports in the rest of the semester. Okay, good luck in this chapter.